Well, today I'm going to be giving you my best recommendations of what gear you should be equipping for both free-to-play and pay-to-win players. So I've used about every single piece of gear inside the game, and we have guides going over what their stats actually are and even tier list for them. So if you want to know more about them, go take a look at one of those videos. Now, just a little disclaimer, there's more than one way to play the game. This is how I play it, so if you don't like the way I'm picking things, don't feel butthurt. It's nothing personal, it's just how I like to play. So if you're new to the game, you might find something a little bit different from the other Habby games, and that's that we have 10 S-grade weapons and 10 non-S-grade weapons. It's pretty much the one piece of gear that there's more of than anything else inside the game. Now, I myself like to play the game by building around attack, and there's 5 of these S-grade weapons that actually have an epic stat of global attack plus 25%. And out of all the ones with global attack, my favorite ones are going to be the bows, which are going to be the Whisperer and then the Angel Bow. And as much as I love these things, there's one big problem. It's incredibly difficult to get matching copies of these in order to fuse them up to the next rarity. Unlike a lot of the other games, you actually need 3 matching copies of, let's say, that Whisperer to go and take it from Epic plus 2 into Legendary. And this is why you find as players advance into the game, you'll probably see them not actually equipping an S-grade weapon. For me, there's 2 non-S grades that really shine out, and that's going to be the Nomad Bow and the Nomad Staff. Now, we just had an update and I haven't actually done the testing yet, nor do I have a Mythic Nomad Staff, but supposedly the actual Mythic stat of it has been bugged for a while, and they're supposed to be correcting it. Now, I do, however, have a Nomad Bow at Legendary plus 3, and I will say, I have used it a little bit. It does increase my overall power inside the game, but when it comes down to it, it seems like at Legendary plus 3, it still seems to be right around the same amount of damage and progress that I'm making as my Epic plus 2 S-grade. And that's mainly the Whisperer that I'm using there, so just kind of use that as a little bit of a guideline. You gotta make a pretty big jump on this to go and switch from the non-S grade to the S grade, at least in my opinion. If I did have this thing at Mythic right now, I would be using that Nomad Bow over my Epic S grade. Moving on to the armor, or what they call wear inside the game, you're probably going to find your first S-grade item will actually be the Revival Cape because of that 7-day challenge. There is also one other S-grade piece of armor, which is going to be the Dragon's Breath, and I'll be honest with you, I switch between both of these here and there whenever I'm getting stuck, and they seem to be both pretty comparable on what I'm doing inside the game. I find myself using the Revival Cape most of the time, but when I do get stuck on the tower, that's one of the first things I switch out is throwing on this Dragon's Breath. Now, I said before, I'm addicted to video games. I play way too much, so a lot of you might not actually get this cape from this 7-day carnival depending on how much you play. And that's where the non-S grade tunic is going to step in. This is also a very good armor to have. Yeah, it might not compare with the actual S grades at the same rarity, but once you get this thing geared up, or at least rared up, I guess I should say, this thing does become pretty powerful. And by the way, when you're increasing the level, not the rarity of this gear, you should be pumping everything into your weapon first, and then everything that you have left over into your armor, and then follow that by doing your rings and then your accessories. This isn't one of those games where everything should be kind of spread around or anything just put on the left side. Your weapon needs to take it all. Now, moving on to the rings, there's actually 7 different ones altogether. There's 4 S-grade ones and then 3 non-S-grade ones. And if you do equip 2 of the same rings, they will stack one on top of each other. This is a question that I see thrown out a lot, and the same thing is going to go if you use 2 matching accessories. Now, the ring that I have sitting there at Legendary plus 3, I think it's absolute garbage, but the game threw a whole bunch of them at me, so that's why we have it, because it is increasing my overall stats. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not the best. But the 2 rings I would recommend at S grade would probably be the Judgment Ring and then the Sky Flame Ring. The Judgment Ring is one that I feel is good for those quick attacks and those quick kills, and then I feel the Sky Flame one is great for having those long round battles. And for the non-S grade rings, that's where I'm saying the Guardian Ring. I absolutely love this thing. When I was playing through in the early days, that's where I was stacking 2 of these things up in both slots, and I was just wrecking everybody with daggers. If you can't pop 2 of these things out at the same time, definitely one Guardian, and then the other one I would go for would be the Magic Ring. Moving on to the accessories, once again, another one we can equip 2 different ones or 2 of the same, but the one I feel that blows everything out of the water is going to be the Reckoning Badge. I finally just landed my 3rd one, but I was running 2 of these, and I asked people on Discord, should I do it? Should I pull the trigger and just merge them together? And they said, yeah, you really want to do it. So I did that, took it up to plus 2, and I'm still loving this thing. But just know that if you are going in on the tower for this, it doesn't seem like this rare skill is actually working in there at the moment, so you might want to try to switch up for something else. The other one that I really like is going to be the Bloody Grail if I couldn't go and equip 2 of those Reckoning badges, but still, Bloody Grail, halfway decent there, second best one inside the game in my opinion. But if you don't have the S grades to equip, this is where a lot of people go and equip the Frostwind Horn with the Icy Bubble. They work hand in hand with each other, and they're a great way to go and at least get yourself started off. But hopefully we didn't offend too many people on this. If you don't agree with this, let us know in the comments what you would switch to and why you would switch it to. If you want to know one of the biggest mistakes you're going to make when you first start off in the game, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.